Totally, and most of us have been at a water park at least one point in our life, but who builds those water parks? Guess what? WHITEWATER does here in Richmond. We're going to take a look at how they build those water parks, and it is the largest company that does it in the world. That's all coming up next. Stay with us. And why wouldn't you want to check out the water parks? And who knew that the largest manufacturer in the world of water parks is WHITEWATER West? And Claudio, first of all, many of us have been to water parks. They are just so enormous. How do you know what to build and where to put the slides?
Well, the way I like to approach it is think of it like a department store or a grocery store where you go in and you're pulled in and you're drawn to the back. So when we lay things out, so the clients come in and they go through the full experience and they come to the big iconic rides in the back. So when you see something big in the distance, you got mom and dad, and they're like, hey, mom and dad, I want to go to that big ride. So you draw this whole pull of people across the park. So that's a big part of it. And
look at the enormity of it. I mean, when you look at this drawing here, you see this little tiny child, and then you really get a feel for how big these parks actually are.
Things have gotten really big over the last few years.
Wow, it's awesome. Okay, let's make our way to see Emily. Thank you very much, Claudio. Yeah, I mean, 30 years in business and some incredible designs. Emily, what are we seeing right here?
All right, well, and I work in the department that takes what we see in the architectural layouts and brings it to reality. So this is a fly-through of one of the parks that we've been designing. It has those big, massive, iconic slides and kind of shows the client what we're going to see.
And so how did you even get into this business?
Well, you know, the water slides did not choose me. I flew all around the world, and it's been one of the most incredible experiences of my life. I'm designed by somebody who's made more slides than anyone else in the entire world, and at the best water park company in the world.
Do you have to test drive them?
Of course.
Of course you do.
I hope
and guess what? Most people at home probably have at one point, excuse me there, Emily, most people at one point, Jody and Reyes, have probably ridden on one of the water parks, in one of the water parks that they, of course, designed here at WHITEWATER West. For more details, you can go to their website, but we're going to actually make our way into the factory coming up next to see how they do all this magic. You know what? It's super cool right now. We are here at WHITEWATER West, which is the largest water park builder in the entire world. 30 years in business. In fact, if you've been in a water park, you've probably been on one of their slides. So we're going to show you coming up next how they turn styrofoam into something like this. Stay with us. You're watching BT. Thanks very much, guys. Hey, who knew that the largest water park manufacturer in the world is actually located here in Richmond? Take a look at this footage right now. We are here at WHITEWATER West, and if you've been at a water park, you've likely been in one of their water slides. Paul, we're seeing footage right now. What kinds of parks have you guys worked on?
We've worked on parks all over the world. Parks for Disney, Six Flags, Atlantis, South Africa, China, you name it, we've been there.
Super cool. Well, I mean, the scale of these parks is just massive, but it starts with a bit of design. We've already seen from the drawings and everything, but now what area are we in, Paul?
We're in the thematic shop.
Okay.
This is where we take the ideas of our clients and we bring them to life.
Excellent. Well, let's do a little walkthrough right now. So, first of all, how long does it take to create one of these thematic elements?
It really depends on its complexity, but it can be anywhere from a week or two to even longer.
And who are the people that are working on this? What kinds of people can work here?
There are artists, there are sculptors. Many of them have backgrounds and education in the artist profession, as well as people who come from the film industry.
So if they're an artist, they need to have a medium, they need to have something they work with. They are working with basic, I'm holding some right now, basic styrofoam. It really is just regular styrofoam.
It's styrofoam, that's all it is.
Super. How hard is it to work with styrofoam?
Styrofoam's quite easy to work with. It can be a little brittle, but at the same time, all good artists have their little tricks that they use to make it work for them.
And so what's this gentleman doing right now?
He's basically putting the finish onto his item that he's working on.
Excellent. And let's make our way to this lovely lady right now who is covered in styrofoam. What kinds of things would she be doing?
Again, she's just basically she's carving the last items to sculpt the item to what she wants it to look like.
So are they using basic tools like knives and files and?
They're really simple. They're things you would buy in a hardware store.
And the kind of people that can work here, if you have any kind of artistic element? Wow, super cool.
Come and see us.
Come and see you, and just thumbs up. How do you like being in that sea of styrofoam right now? Is it okay?
It's pretty messy, but you get used to it.
Awesome. For more details, again, on WHITEWATER West, you can go to their website. Michelle, super cool here. We're going to continue to work through all the elements of the water parks coming up throughout the show. Super cool. Now, what are we seeing right now, Jeff? What are we looking at?
Well, this whole area is the aquaplay area. So what you see here is a steel structure that is the center core of a spiral staircase for an aquaplay unit.
Wow, super cool. And earlier, of course, we were looking at the carving, the sculpting, the creating of some of these thematic structures. What's the next step?
From the styrofoaming, it comes in this side, and then we hard coat it. So this you can hear very hard, and on that, then we can do our painting and our theming.
Perfect.
The whole plant is organized along the Toyota Kaizen lines, and you can see some of the signage here to focus the employees on keeping the shop clean and orderly, and very much along the Henry Ford model.
Right. And now, of course, we're going into the painting area. So what are we seeing right here? I mean, really, this is what they're working on, right?
Yeah, this is one of the thematic structures that will go on an aquaplay unit. The theme on this one, which is going to Reno, Nevada, is aviation. So you can see here we've carved an airplane, and you can see on the left the propellers that are just drying there now. They will go on, obviously, the front of it, but it will be completed to look exactly like a real airplane.
And now the kind of paint that's used for these thematic elements, what's special about it?
Well, we actually worked with DuPont to develop this simply because out in the outdoors with the ultraviolet, etc., there's a big chance of fading, and so we want to have this last for 10, 20 years before there's any degradation of the color itself. So we've developed ourselves a paint that will not fade with ultraviolet.
That is fantastic. Well, I won't tackle my lack of artistic ability on that. They are true artists here again at WHITEWATER West, where if you've been on a water slide or at a water park, Jody and Riaz, water parks like Cultus Lake, they have created all those elements from design to something like this, and then of course the finished product. For more details on their company, of course, you can go to their website. We got lots more coming up here throughout the show. And it's going to come up in literally about a minute or so. So let's talk through, John. First of all, we've talked about some of the thematic elements here at WHITEWATER West, which of course is the largest water park manufacturer in the entire world. Talk us through some of these here and where they're actually going to, which water parks.
Okay, so back here we've got a Viking theme. This is actually going to PIM Jakarta in Indonesia. The next 3 skids are a Tiki design, and these are going to Latte World, a large installation in South Korea. And then at the very end here, we have another set of carvings that is a set of dolphins, and these are going to Belarus in Eastern Europe.
Wow, so it truly is international. People always wonder, why don't we see as much maybe in Canada? And that's basically because of the weather, really. It's not our fault, right? Now, before we get ready to dump this here, tell us about this feature right there.
Okay, this is one of our iconic features. This is the tipping bucket. Normally, this will be up quite high in the air. There'll be a bell ringer associated with it. As the bucket fills, the bell ringer will go off, and kids flock to the bottom, and the bucket will dump water.
And I think, you know what? Here it comes right now. Wow! That's fantastic! And people really do get excited to that level, don't they?
Absolutely. Kids just love that. They flock to it.
Fantastic. Well, for more details, again, on WHITEWATER and all the fantastic work they do, some of the most fantastic water parks in the entire world, 30 years in business, Jody and Riaz. That was impressive from up close, and you know when you're at the water park, it's going to be equally impressive. Thanks very much to everyone for having us out here. How cool was that?